It's a big deal.
Hello.
Everybody's within throwing distance.
Okay, first of all, I don't think I've ever seen people line up for a Zillow talk an hour before. Somehow Spencer doesn't have that draw with quarterly meetings. So maybe we need to do this more often.
Okay.
I can tell everybody's so excited. We're so excited for our speaker today. Rainn Wilson is best known, and most of you know him for his iconic Emmy-nominated role on The Office as Dwight Schrute. But there's a whole lot more to him, to his professional work. He just finished up season 1 of a new show called Backstrom, but also his personal life. He grew up in Seattle, went to the University of Washington, and he's deeply involved in an organization called the Mona Foundation, which is doing amazing things around the world for communities and women and children. So Rainn is going to talk to us today about his career, about his involvement in this foundation, and really about anything else you guys want to talk about. We're going to have a Q&A at the end. You can ask questions in the room or text me on my cell, which went out in the note today. So without further ado, let's welcome Rainn.
Hi. This is weird. Do I stand here with this on me? That's weird, right? Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. See that? Vicente Fox can suck it. How many people did he have? I should run for president of Mexico. Mi español es muy bien también. So. How's it going, Zillow heads? Thanks very much for coming. Thank you guys for coming today. This is so great, and your founder and CEO are here, checking his BlackBerry. That's fantastic. Thanks, guys. I'm looking for a 5-bedroom home on the east side with a pool. I know. Anyway, I'm looking for a website. Never mind. It's great to be here. What do we? So we're going to have a Q&A afterwards, so then you can ask me all your office questions or questions about my beard or whatever. But right now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Mona Foundation and a little bit about my journey in my work with Mona and some of the work that I'm doing in Haiti nowadays, because it's for me, a really exciting new chapter of my life, and I really want to share it. And yeah, so I'm going to talk about that. I'm really thrilled because my way into the Zillow world is through an old high school buddy of mine who's on your board, Gordon Stevenson. Wave your hand, Gordon. What is it? SeattleRents.com? Is that it? RentSeattle.com. Yeah. Goes to him. If you write info@rentseattle.com, it goes to your mailbox, right? So Gordon and I went to Shorecrest High School together, north of Seattle, for a little while.
We have some Highlanders in there.
Yeah, Highlanders! We wore kilts. It was truly embarrassing. Gordon and I were in the marching band together. I was in the were you in the orchestra too? Somehow in junior high, I went from playing clarinet, and my junior high music teacher convinced me that I should play the bassoon. He said, "There's this really cool instrument called the bassoon. Girls are gonna love it if you play this incredibly difficult double reed instrument that you have to put together by hand, and it makes a sound like a tiny little yak fart, just like this." It's like an old person farting. It's the worst instrument in the world. It really is. And to make it worse, to make matters worse, and I don't want to be offensive or anything, but the real Italian name for the bassoon is the fagotti. So my music teacher announced in 8th grade, "Hey, Rainn Wilson is playing the fagotti." That's what it's called, the fagotti. So kids everywhere I went, you can imagine what they said. That was also not fun. But we also did we raspberry picked together in Woodinville. for profit. There was this thing, there was basically child slavery. It was alive and well in rural Washington state in the late 70s, early 80s. And Gordon and I would get on a bus. We were like 13 years old. We would get on a school bus at the Lake Forest Park Mall, and they would take us out to Woodinville, Washington.
Monroe. It was even further.
It was Monroe?
Down by the penitentiary, yeah.
Oh. Under the shadow of the penitentiary, we would pick raspberries. And the way they got around the child labor laws is we would get paid by the flat. So you'd pick a flat of raspberries like this, and you'd get paid $1.50 or $1.25, I think. And that's ridiculous, because you'd pick one in an hour. So you're getting $1.25 an hour. But they can just say, hey, we had a bus, and these kids just got in, and we brought them up to Monroe, and they got out, and they wanted to pick some raspberries, and we paid them $1.25 for a flat of raspberries. But they wouldn't pay you to the end of the summer. So that's how they lure you in. They wouldn't even give you on the day. You had to work. It was terrible. It was the worst. You weren't in the Dungeons and Dragons crew with me, though. No. That's where you drew the line. Good for you. But that's basically, see, what I did essentially through the course of my life was I realized that I kind of climbed the Amway pyramid of geekdom. So I started really at the worst with Dungeons and Dragons, the bassoon. In fact, in the marching band, too, for a while I played the xylophone, because you can't march with a bassoon. So, and the Shorecrest Highlanders, we wore kilts. So I was about 97 pounds, covered in acne, with a kilt and a xylophone. Da, 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 da. It was, but I climbed the Amway pyramid of geekdom to become a drama geek when I eventually moved to Chicago and started doing acting. And then I realized that, oh, this is a kind of a geekdom where girls actually liked you if you could make them laugh. And then that kind of created my career as an actor, and the rest was history. So I no longer play the bassoon. But anyways, thank you, Gordon, for bringing me into Zillow. So shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk a little bit about the Mona Foundation. I see we've got some slides. That's our website there. We could use a redesign. In fact, well, I'll pitch that to you guys later on after the talk. So basically, a very strange thing happened when I started getting famous for The Office. About in the second season of The Office or third season of The Office, I started getting approached from all these different nonprofits and charities. And I got literally just inundated, from Physicians for Social Responsibility to, Kitties with Cancer to whatever kind of charity you could think of. Tree Huggers Anonymous, they all, whatever it was, and it was really overwhelming. And they wanted me to be an MC, or they wanted me to raise money for them, or for me to be on the advisory board, or to come to their most recent meeting. And I had to do some really deep soul searching about what it is that I wanted to do now that I was more in the public eye as an actor, in terms of making the world a better place. I had an incredible opportunity that was out in front of me here, and I didn't really know how to proceed. So I took this very seriously. I thought, I kind of want to pace, but then this freaks me out. What do you think?
It's okay.
It's all right? Is it kind of dramatic? It's kind of Tom Cruise and Magnolia a little bit? Buff camera guy, can you stay with me? How much do you bench? Fantastic. All right. It's good. It's good. Give him a TV show. Not going to happen. Can you see me? Hi in the back. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming. So we're, what were we talking about? Oh, so I took this very seriously, this opportunity that was in front of me. And I started digging into all the different kinds of nonprofits that were out there. And I really what I settled on was education. That for me, I really believe that if we want to make the world a better place, the number one way to do that is through education. This is what I really settled on. If you want to change the economy, if you want to address poverty, you do it through education. If you want to address the environment, really you do it through education. If you want to address any of the social ills that we have in the world, it's through uplifting and empowering young people and students that is going to have the maximum impact. So right around this time, I got contacted by the Mona Foundation, and the founder is here. She's going to say a few words in a little bit, Manaz Javid. And they, like these other nonprofits, asked me to be a part of the organization and asked me to help them fundraise and maybe visit them in Seattle. I loved the fact that they had a Seattle connection. So it was founded 15 years ago here in Seattle. I have a great love for the city of my birth. And although Mona Foundation works internationally, works in 20 different countries, I consider it really a local charity that works internationally. So that was something that was very exciting to me. And the more I learned about the Mona Foundation, the more I explored and read about them, then I started consulting with Manaz and other members of the board, the more I felt like I had found really the perfect charity. I wanted to be a part of a nonprofit that was small, that I could grow with, that I could help grow, that it could grow with me. That's been a very exciting process. There's a number of different things that I discovered along the way about education that some of those points I want to share with you here today. So one thing is I hate the word charity, okay? The word charity has this, it's a loaded word and it has this stuff that's implicit in it. It's kind of like, we have a lot of stuff and we know more and we feel bad for you, so we're going to give you things. There's kind of that inherent in the word charity. So that's something we wanted to get away from. One thing I love about education is it really is good education is about empowerment. So this is the Mona Foundation empowers people, takes the students in all the schools that the Mona Foundation works with. There is an imperative in that school that there is service. There's a service component to going at the schools. So you give back to the communities in which you're educated. The thing that I most responded to about the Mona Foundation was this idea of grassroots education. We Westerners have oftentimes an idea of like, I'm going to go to this place, I'm going to go create a school. I'm going to go like Oprah did. I'm going to go build a multi-million-dollar school in a field in Africa, and I'm going to hire great teachers and put it down there and then find the best students, and that's the best way to educate. But it's not really, for a number of different reasons. One is it's very cost prohibitive. The other is there's not a connection to the community. So what the Mona Foundation does is it scours the world and it finds grassroots educational initiatives that were created there. They were grassroots. They were locally created by people to make their environments better, to transform their local community. So, for instance, we support a school in Panama called the Barley School that was started in someone's garage as a way. There were not any good schools in the area, so they started a kindergarten in the garage, and then first grade, and they brought in people, and then they took over half their house, and then they rented the house next door and moved it into that house, and then it's expanded and expanded and expanded. And we've been with it and supporting it for 15 years. And now it's to the point where it's one of the very best high schools, or K through 12 schools in all of Panama. In fact, it's so successful that the government of Panama studied it and then decreed that the Barley School should publish its operating instructions. I don't know what you call that in fancy education talk, but it's how it educates the kids in the national newspaper. So every week for a year, a chunk of the, what do you call it, operating instructions of curriculum. That's the word, curriculum. I should know this. Thank you. You guys are much smarter than I am. So this is but one of the many success stories. So Barley School, because it started in a garage in Panama, and now its curriculum is emulated throughout the country of Panama and throughout the world, but it started on such a local level that it has, and the students that go there are compelled, educated to become social change agents for their communities. So they give back to the community in Panama. There's some other things that we learned about Mona Foundation. One of the focuses of Mona Foundation is the education of women and girls. And the more I dug into this, the more excited I was about this idea of educating women and girls. In fact, the United Nations recently came out and said the most at-risk population in the world are girls ages 12 to 16. That's when they get pregnant, and this is the most kind of misused and misaligned, is that a word? It's not a word, but we're going to say that. Misaligned population in the world, and that the education and upliftment and empowerment of girls is the best way to fix poverty. That they've done studies where in a community where adolescent girls are targeted through education, and you've seen the poverty change in that region by very significant numbers. The reason for this is really simple when you think about it. I had never thought about it before because I was pretty stupid about it. I was just a bassoonist after all. But that when you educate a young girl, they spread what they've learned with their communities. So there's a school in northern India called the Barley School that Mona Foundation supports and has supported for over 10 years. And the Barley School is a trade school. It takes the lowest, so there's a caste system in India. Well, I didn't know this, but below the lowest caste in India are the tribal girls that are just dirt poor, that are the tribal folk that are dirt poor, that aren't even a part of the caste system. And even the lowest caste in India won't look at or touch or be any part of these certain tribal peoples. So the Barley School is for these tribal peoples, and it offers a 3-month program, and the girls arrive. They have to pay something because they tried doing it for free, but no one took it seriously. They found that if you charge the girls or their families something, and it's some very modest amount, it's like $5 for the entire 3 months or something like that, then they take it much more seriously. And the girls come and they're given newspapers, and the reason they're given newspapers is they learn how to read from newspapers, and they learn health and hygiene, and then they also learn a trade. So over their 3 to 6 months at the Barley School, they learn literacy, they learn a trade like sewing, quilting, etc. They're shown alternative ways of cooking, like cooking rice from a solar rice cooker, and they're taught basic health and hygiene. And what they found is that these girls go back out to their very, very poor villages in remote areas. Hi, everyone back there. And they spread what they learned, right? So they have kids, and they obviously teach those kids, but they teach their mothers and their aunts and their cousins and their sisters and their girlfriends, and the education multiplies and it spreads. If you teach a young 15-year-old boy in the same situation a job skill like that, he's just going to move to the big city and become an Uber driver. And it's true. It's true. So it is, first of all, so it's cost effective to educate girls because you're really educating so many when you educate one. But then, I'll talk a little bit later about Haiti. What you see in so many parts of the developing world, for those of you who have traveled in the developing world, you see how misused the female population is, how they're kept down, how a family has the money to educate a son or a daughter. They'll educate the son, who'll be their education of the son is very prized oftentimes, whereas the daughter is relegated to cooking and cleaning and childcare or selling things at the market or buying things at the market, and really kept down. So you're also, besides being very practical, it's very empowering as well for the upliftment of women, which humanity needs to do. Let's face it, we need to do a lot of work with how we've treated the females in our population. Talk amongst yourselves. Just kidding. One of the things that was interesting when I started working on it, I had several people say to me in person and also on Twitter, like, why are you involved in the international charity? Why not here at home? And this is a very interesting thought, and it really kind of rankles me. It really actually kind of ticks me off. Because there's a number of different reasons why Mona and I believe in working internationally. And I'm not averse to working at home, but it just so happens that these schools are mostly international. We have some projects in the United States. But this idea like, oh, you should work close to home. Well, what's my home? My home is the planet Earth. And my brothers and sisters are in all the different countries of this glorious and very hurting planet. And the idea is so old and ridiculous that I need to work. So I live in Agora Hills, California. Does that mean that I can only support people in Agora Hills, California? Or does it mean LA County? Or does it mean Southern California? Is that close enough to home? Or can I include Nevada as well? Like, it's very like, it's like when people lived in caves, they were like, why don't you just help the people in your own cave? Why are you helping the people over in that other cave? This is our cave. Why are you're going over into Thrognor's cave? Don't help them. Jeez. So I think it's very short-sighted to look at helping people in the world that way. I think that's a very old-fashioned idea, and we should let that go. Also, just from a practical standpoint, working internationally is very cost-effective. I mean, it's crazy. We have a school in Haiti, my wife and I, and we go down there a lot, and it's $500 a year. $500 a year to send a kid to school in Haiti. $500 a year barely gets a kid tennis shoes in the United States. I mean, and you can literally see that for $500. Here's the tuition. It's $410. Here's your uniform. Here's your books. It literally is $500, and they will complete a year of school. So that's another thing to take into account. I want to talk a little bit about some of the programs that we do. I talked a little bit about Barley School and Barley School, not to be confused with one another. I guess I started working with Mona Foundation and helped them with some fundraisers. We did a little comedy and music benefit here in downtown Seattle. I did that for a couple years and did some fundraising here and there. And then what really changed is about 5.5 years ago, Manaz and a group of Mona board members went down to Haiti to visit some of the schools. At that time, they were funding 5 different educational initiatives in Haiti. Right now, there's 3 that are being funded by Mona. And that trip really changed my life. I don't know if people have, I'm sure you're all pretty well traveled, and many of you have been in the developing world, like I said, and some of you have probably been to Haiti. But it really is a pretty magical place that really gets under your skin. And I had traveled in some poor places before. I'd been in Northern Africa. I'd been through Central America. I'd seen poor people. I kind of had experienced that. But the poverty on the scale in Haiti, there's no comparison. It's absolutely astonishing. I don't have any statistics on the tip of my tongue to tell you about it, but it's just something that you have to experience. And I'd never seen so much deprivation and so much pain and so much misery and so much just grotesque poverty. And at the same time, I'd never seen so much life and so much spirit and so much humanity and music and culture and art and incredible people with tremendous strength and fortitude and willpower and sense of humor, and just really fell in love with the place. We had the good fortune of meeting this woman named Sue Puzo, who was living there in Haiti, and she had been the headmaster of one of these schools that we had supported. And she was 72 years old, and she decided to retire. And she had just worked so hard her whole life educating thousands of children in Haiti. Just a beautiful, selfless woman. And she decided to retire, and she went back to her, she had a little bit of meager savings that came from an inheritance, and she decided to go back to her house. And she went back to her house, and the very next morning after she retired, there was a knock on her door at 6 in the morning, and she went to her door, and it was a little Haitian street kid, and he said, "Hey, I hear that you used to be a teacher. I really want to learn how to read. Can you teach me how to read?" And she was like, "Okay, come in, I'll teach you." And she had a little booklet, and she taught him a few things about the alphabet and a few basics about how to read. And he said, "Okay, great, thanks very much." She was like, "Okay, great." Next morning, 6 a.m., knock on the door, 2 little street kids. He brought his little friend. He's like, he wants to learn how to read too. She's like, "Okay, fine, come on in. Here we go. Here's the booklet, some alphabet, reading and writing." The next week, it was 7 kids, and then it was 10, and then it was 30. And all of a sudden, in her backyard, this woman had built 5 different classrooms, like one in a shed and one in her garage and one just with a thatched piece. We witnessed this. We walked through this school. I've been several times. A piece of thatched roof. And these are classrooms for street children that have no place else to go, that she just welcomed into her house, into her driveway, into her garage, and began a school at the age of 72. Then she used her meager savings to rent the house next door, because they're street children, and they were literally sleeping on the streets, and housed these children, and put all of her remaining resources into the education and empowerment of these street kids. And not only did she do that, she had an initiative to rejoin the kids with their families, which was really remarkable. So they did outreach and found their families and tried to reconnect the children to their families so that they weren't these lost kids anymore. Eventually, this Anna Sanusi Annex, we called it, was integrated into the other school that we support, and those kids were given scholarships there and brought and kind of folded into other schools, because she just couldn't continue to do this. She did it for 4 or 5 years, and her health was ailing and stuff like that. But it was seeing stories like this firsthand and seeing the support that Mona was giving, and on subsequent trips, seeing the results of the donations and watching going to a fundraiser like this. This isn't a fundraiser, but going and speaking like this and raising $30,000 at a fundraiser to build 3 classrooms, and then going back a year and a half later and seeing 3 classrooms filled with children where there were not those classrooms before was exceptionally powerful experience. After we visited, a few months later, 2 months later was the earthquake, where 150,000 people died in about 90 seconds. And I had never seen, like I said, such poverty as I had in Haiti before the earthquake. And then I couldn't even imagine after the earthquake what it must have been like. We went back we went back about 5 months later after the earthquake to teach adolescent girls in a tent camp that was at Sean Penn's charity. My wife and I did. And we were doing an arts program. And I was very skeptical about this. I was very dubious because I thought, well, why are we teaching the arts to these poor girls that are living in these muddy tents? They need shoes and they need jobs. They don't need to learn how to draw or learn how to use a digital camera or play theater games or anything like that. Boy, was I wrong. I couldn't believe the transformation that I saw in these girls from a 2 weeks art program, from the beginning to the end. And they were so empowered by doing the art program. It wasn't about teaching them to be professional artists or photographers or actors. It was about them finding their voice. And this greatly inspired my wife and I to start doing similar kind of work to this in Haiti. I'm going to show a video in a minute, not right just yet. I thought that I would just introduce Manaz Javid for a minute, and she could come up and speak for a few minutes about her experience, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about the program that my wife and I are doing. And then we have a very exciting challenge for you all today that involves tickling Spencer. I just threw in the tickling thing, but it does involve. I'd like to tickle Spencer. But it involves Spencer, and it's really cool. But Manaz, take the mic, please, and maybe you could tell them a little bit about Mona from your perspective, my dear.
Hi, everyone.
Let's give a big round of applause for Manaz.
Well, first of all, thank you so very much for having us here. Spencer, Amy, it was always a great pleasure first to meet with you and then be here. Really, thank you, thank you, thank you. And, of course, thank you, Rainn, for sponsoring Mona and for being here on our behalf. I really have not much to add.
Just a little closer.
I really don't have that much to add to what Rainn has mentioned, but here is my spiel. I've been with Mona for the past 15 years. And because of this experience, I promise you that I'm a better person as a mother. I'm a better professional. I actually have a pretty good job as a high-tech consultancy here. That is the paying job that pays for this one. And I am a much better person inside. Because through work like this, I think I felt that it had given meaning to my life and had made me a much more effective person. And that has been my personal experience. I think we give, but I assure you that you'll always get back a lot more than you would ever be able to give. I invite you to take a look at Mona and what we do, and I assure you that whatever you do, however it might be, whatever step you take, whether in support of Mona or other charitable organizations of your choice, it will make a difference. It will make a difference. I love living in Seattle. It's a fantastic area. It's full of creative people like yourselves, Spencer, Gordon, Amy, that really create huge, big companies out of ideas. I think it's fantastic. I think to be in an area with people with such great breakthrough thinkers and creative people. I consider Mona also a breakthrough nonprofit. We are breaking through the barriers that have stopped us to be successful in the past. And after 15, 16 years, I can tell you that I can stand up here with my head high to say that every dollar that we were given was invested in someone's life and made that better. So look us up. Love to have you as a part of Mona family. And thank you, Rainn, for being so amazing.
Thanks, Manaz. You know, this chapter of my life in terms of doing this nonprofit work and educational work has been so fulfilling and enriching to my life and to my marriage and family as well. And it's interesting, I was doing research on happiness, and there's incredible science. We have a show on Soul Pancake called The Science of Happiness. Maybe some of you have seen that. But there are actual tangible things that are proven to make you happier. Gratitude is one. Just having a gratitude list or saying 3 things you're grateful for every day is a very simple way to literally boost your happiness level. But one of the things that they've discovered scientifically is that we kind of have a myth in our culture that focusing on ourselves, I need to take care of myself and really look at myself right now and just think about myself and my needs and what I want to do next and for myself, that actually makes you more unhappy, and that it's actually working for others and in service to other people that actually boosts people's happiness. And it's true. It's kind of a conundrum. It doesn't seem like it would work that way, but working for the happiness of others actually can really be inspiring to you. So I wanted to share this little video that we recently made, literally a month ago. My wife and I go down to Haiti a lot. We do work at the various Mona schools down there. We also started an initiative in conjunction with some existing grassroots Haitian organizations where we bring an arts curriculum to at-risk adolescent girls that are way out in the rural areas, way, way, way out there. And through teaching them photography and drama and creative writing and visual arts, we also teach them literacy and health and hygiene and give them scholarships to begin their educational program. I'll just say before the video, and then I'm going to talk about Tickling Spencer, this whole thing started when my wife and I visited a rural school in Haiti, and my wife asked this little Haitian girl, she said, "What do you love to do?" And the Haitian girl kind of stared blankly because we realized that for so many young girls in Haiti, no one ever asks them what their opinion is. When we started our first workshop, we simply went around saying, "What's your favorite color?" And it was super clear that a lot of these girls had never been asked that question before. No one had ever thought to say, or they didn't even think they had the worth to say, "My favorite color is blue," or "My favorite color is pink." So my wife asked this girl, what do you want to do? What do you most want to do in your life? And the girl's face lit up, and she said, "I want to be a singer." And everyone looked shocked. Everyone looked at her shocked. And Hollywood, my wife was like, "Well, didn't no one know that she wanted to be a singer?" And the people said, "No, she's never spoken before." So it was in the asking of that question that a light was sparked. And that's what we've found through our work there. So let's look at this video. Thanks.
So the obvious question is, why does a girl who lives in a tent need the arts? I mean, these girls need shoes. They need jobs. They need roofs. They don't need photography and creative writing.
Moi imagine celle-là chaque jour. Si moi t'a demandé celle-là un bagay, moi t'a dit pour prendre plus intelligence, sagesse, bonté. Et puis tout, si celle-là t'a parlé, moi t'a parlé avec lui. Et puis tout, il tendait moi. Il t'a demandé pour visiter chaque jour. Parce qu'il n'est pas qu'à parler, moi demandé pour veiller sur moi chaque matin et chaque soir. Moi, espérer que celle-là attendait avec patience.
My wife and I came to Haiti after the earthquake. We taught drama, visual arts, creative writing, photography, to girls that were living in tents, many of whom had undergone tremendous trauma. Many of them had lost their family.
Really, what our program is based on is to feed the souls of the girls with art and with the chance for their own imagination to be the teacher. So I had everybody sit in a circle, and I started just asking girls what their hopes and dreams were, and this little tiny girl said, "I want to be a singer." And she just sort of popped out with that, and everybody seemed shocked and started crowding around. I asked what's going on, and they said, "Well, we haven't heard her speak at school before."
When Lide first came to Guyane, we planned to do our arts program, which was writing, photography, and theater. Then we discovered what the needs were of the community. They came to us, and they said, could you also help with literacy?
Là m'a fait ça, je me sens fière parce que j'ai eu un grand défi là j'étais petit, je ne sais pas comment écrire.
Moi dis que ça me t'a voulu pour jeune mesdames dans l'idée avec l'idée pour capable élargir et puis capable utile société à demain si Dieu veut.
Moi presque bien un an de mon travail avec l'idée et moi enseigné des petits monde de l'âge de 10 ans jusqu'à 18 ans, fait écriture, fait théâtre. Et ça a fait oublier le problème qui a duré la caillou. Donc, les là, ensemble avec nous, jouer avec eux, qui sont contents d'oublier quelques problèmes. Et ça a transformé, fait grandir puis bien.
These girls come from difficult families. Most of them don't have someone here to support them, to talk to them or to listen to them when they need it.
Donc, moi-même, normalement, moi fais tout le travail ça, c'est parce que moi juge les nécessaire pour si mon ça rejoindre l'amour, pour le grandir.
Battu. N'a pas levé pied tout petit. La battu.
They learn the importance of education so that they know that they should never stop learning.
When you ask them what they need, they say an education. More than anything else, they wanted to know how to read and write.
We are facilitating their own creative journey and journey of the imagination and understanding that their vision has value.
Là avec lui, au plus rare de connecter. Bon, dans l'écriture, nous apprenons à reconnaître qui est sûr et dans l'autre.
They want to feel human.
And that's when I saw the power of the arts to create transformation. That, yes, young women, they need education, but they also need to become empowered.
Le la souhait, au cas du ciel là, gagner plusieurs lumières.
And leader, they have voice. We let them talk. We let them express themselves freely. It's important because they need to know that they are special, that they are beautiful, and that and that's really important for the self-esteem, that they know who they are.
When I'm playing theater games with the girls, you see them shut down at first, not accepting it. It can be very stoic, very formal, statue-like. And then a little bit of joy creeps into their eyes and they realize that everyone is clapping for them. And you can see the flood of well-being and love kind of flood into their heart and their faces just light up. And it's that moment that we're looking for through the arts.
Changing Haiti will start by education of young women and girls, because they are really important in our society, and people need to know that they are the key of the change.
Merci. Nous allons quitter plus. Ça fait me soucier un peu de eux. C'est parce que nous avons appelé demain pour nous capables de gagner l'autre société, pour nous capables. Nous avons appelé pour même dépasser.
Ça l'idée c'est toute qualité qui permet de vivre, qui permet de vivre avec l'autre monde, apprendre comment vivre avec l'autre monde et comment transformer la société.
En plus, là, tu as vu un docteur, tu apprends soin, même moi-même qui t'apprends soin, ou les blessés. En plus, là, tu as vu un écrivain, vous avez des autres qui va qu'on écrit.
They have to feel they are a person and they have right. I hope that they will love themselves.
Thanks. So LIDE is the program that we started. It's under the umbrella of Mona Foundation. one of the many educational initiatives that Mona supports. So what we're going to do something really cool. We're going to have a Q&A time now. But we're going to do something really cool. We're going to have a kind of a Zillow Raffle. Okay? We talked about how we were doing this great, cool thing over at Expedia. And we were talking about, to Spencer, about how Dara had agreed that if people paid a certain amount of money, the CEO, that he would buy them dinner. And we kind of looked at Spencer and he's like, yeah, I used to work for Dara. I'll do that. So we're going to do the same thing here, folks. We're going to have a raffle for tickets to have a dinner for the top 20 winners with myself and Spencer here at a restaurant of his choice. So cool, right? Yeah! Amy will help us organize it, but we're basically, what we came up with, what we strategized in our heads was $50 for one raffle ticket, $100 for 3 raffle tickets, $200 for 8 raffle tickets. If you give $500 to Mona Foundation, the first 10 are in to the dinner, tax deductible. FaceTime with the boss. Tickling the boss. Proceeds going to Mona Foundation. So this money will be going to the New Horizons School in, if you want to look it up, New Horizons School in Haiti. And, oh, Manaz is giving me this. Were these handed out, or some people have them? They're on the table. Oh, on the table, there's a bunch of these. Please take one. Here, there's a map of the schools that we support, how long we've supported, and how much money we give out. We give out almost $1 million a year to, at this point, 12 different schools, and we have 75,000 kids every year being supported by donations. But the New Horizons School has just built a vocational school, which is really important in Haiti. So they have a computer lab. So we thought you guys work in computers, and it's going to be about $15,000 to finish this computer lab, which would be really super valuable to these kids in Haiti. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful school. Let me know if you ever want to visit it. So that's where the proceeds of this will be going, towards the computer lab, the New Horizons School in Haiti. So thank you for your generosity, Spencer, in being a part of this, and Amy as well.
So we will we'll send out details on this next week. For those not in the Seattle office, we will fly you up here for the dinner. So you know, everyone, please. Everyone, please.
Using Expedia.
Chad's not in the room, right? Yeah. So we'll send out details, but let's see how much of this or all of this computer lab we can fund as an organization. There's a fun prize out of it. You get to spend more time with Rainn. So let's do it. Let's open up for questions. I got a ton on my phone in the room. Let's start in the room in the back, and I'm going to repeat these so that people streamed can hear. Yeah. Talk about Soul Pancake, which we didn't touch on today.
Yeah, Soul Pancake, for the 12 of you who don't know, is a media company that I started with some friends. It started as a website, then an app, then a New York Times best-selling book. Then we transitioned into making video content. We started with the Oprah Winfrey Network, and we created a YouTube channel. And we've done projects like Kid President, My Last Days, Science of Happiness. Many viral videos that you've probably seen on your Facebooks have been from Soul Pancake. And now we're moving more into television and other forms of media as well. But the whole mission of Soul Pancake is to create content that is uplifting and challenging. So there's enough crap on the interwebs. We want to create something beautiful and important that brings people together and uplifts their hearts and gets people talking. So it's a mission-driven company that I'm excited to see has been very successful. We've just done specials for MTV and VH1, and we're pitching a bunch more shows, and we do advertising and branded content and digital media and all kinds of that kind of stuff. So check out Soul Pancake. Thanks.
Someone just texted in, Rainn is even cooler than Dwight. And Chad
Impossible.
Cohen, Chad, our CFO, just texted me, only tax deductible in excess of the value of the dinner. I don't know what that means. So I think it means that Chad just said he's donating $500. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah!
Question, please. In Backstrom, are you actually drinking alcohol every time you're shown drinking? If not, what is it they have you drink?
Yes, that's actual pure grain alcohol. And after I do 8 takes of a scene, I'm carted off to rehab, and then a month later we start filming again. So, thanks.
One from the room, Mitch.
I'm curious, being a celebrity today is different than when you were growing up and I were growing up. By the way, Nutria, I won't park, so.
All right, all right.
But back then, like, there were no cell phones, obviously, and celebrities, maybe you had your picture taken at a restaurant, but that was about it. And I know you're going to say you're just gratified by your fans, but how do you really deal with it on a daily basis where everybody is like, there's the guy?
I grow a huge beard so that I'm not recognized. For those of you in the remote locations, he was asking how do I deal with like the requests for pictures and celebrity and stuff like that. Yeah, I go unrecognizable most of the time, and then I sometimes take pictures, but if I'm with my family, I don't, or if it's a pain in the butt, I don't. But yeah, it's tricky because everyone has not only a camera in their pocket, they have a computer in their pocket and a video camera. They can make an entire movie with your phone. So it's challenging. There's some issues in privacy and stuff like that. I've found videos on YouTube of like me eating lunch and someone's videotaped it and put it on YouTube, and it's like Rainn Wilson eating lunch, and I'm like picking my nose and like eating something. It's ridiculous.
All right, let's see. There are a lot of Dwight Schrute quotes that are used all the time, particularly by me. This is from Luke in our Lincoln office. Do you have a personal favorite?
My personal favorite Dwight quote is a very little known one because it's the one I really recognized when The Office was really taking off, that this was something special that was really kind of sweeping the nation. And I was in an airport in Detroit, and this guy, it was just in the beginning of our second season, like 3 or 4 episodes into our second season, and this guy ran up to me with his phone, and he was like, hey, read this, say. And I was like, okay, and he handed me his phone, and it said, fact, I can and do cut my own hair. and he said, my daughter and I, we send Dwight quotes back and forth. So I knew that we were onto something, and so that's a very special quote to me. And I do.
Front row here.
I have a question. If we're more interested in donating our time in Haiti versus dollars, how do you go about doing that?
And let me just repeat that, 'cause that's a good question I got in here too. People who want to donate their time to a Mona Foundation effort, in particular Haiti or others, what are some opportunities for that?
Well, we take master teachers at Lide out, and you have to go way out into Haiti to do that. But if you are able to teach a comprehensive week or 2-week long course in photography or theater arts or visual arts or creative writing, then we welcome master teachers to come out. I think there's other ways to donate time to Mona, both here and in places like Haiti and other places. Bukta is our new executive director. Stand up, Bukta. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that, first of all, nice to meet you all and thank you for coming, but we can really use some volunteers here in Seattle, in the US, to help build our capacity, because we really need to update our technology, our design, our marketing, our messaging to be able to reach more people. So if you are smart people with great ideas for, you know, all of those things, I'd love to hear from you, and I would love your help. As Rainn mentioned, in the countries this because we really value, except for, LEAD, as he mentioned, maybe is interested in volunteers, but other organizations really want teachers and staff from the countries. So we would love your help here.
Right on.
Great. And when we send our follow-up on the raffle next week, we'll include how to get in touch with Bookda to donate your time. Rainn, do you have any specific products to treat or maintain your beard?
What about you, beard guy?
I've come to find that coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
It's really good for your skin.
I have coconut oil at home. I'll need to try that. Yeah, because you can get a little dry underneath here. I find the occasional, like, subtercuteous pimple under my beard. Yours is especially ginger.
We have time for one or two more. Let's take one for the room. Yeah, back there.
I'm sorry?
How did they find you in the office? How were you discovered?
How were you discovered?
How was I
for the
discovered for the office? That's a good question. You know, I had done a TV show right before the office called 6 Feet Under. And I did an arc on that. It did 13 episodes. And that was right when HBO was at its height, you know. And that kind of put me on people's radar. And frankly, it really, like, transitioned me to Dwight just perfectly. So I'm really grateful. That was the job that I was able to kind of break. That was my breakthrough job on 6 Feet Under that kind of put me on people's radar and got me in the attention. And people were all watching HBO, The Wire, and Sopranos were on at that time. And Entourage and Curb Your Enthusiasm were just getting started and 6 Feet Under. So it was a great opportunity for me and opened a lot of doors.
Okay, one more question. Can we take it from here? Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of Paul Farmer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering if you were inspired by any of that or what you think about.
Yeah, so he's asking about, he's saying he's a big fan of Paul Farmer and what I think of his work and access to healthcare in these places. And yeah, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Paul Farmer's work, two of the best books, the best book is Mountains Beyond Mountains by Tracy Kidder about the life of Paul Farmer. It's absolutely extraordinary human being. He's on the faculty at Harvard, I think, right? And used to travel every weekend from Harvard to Haiti to go give AIDS medication out in rural Haiti. And single-handedly, through his organization, built the best hospital in Haiti, way out in the middle of nowhere. People actually leave the capital city, drive way out in the countryside to go to Paul Farmer's hospital out in rural Haiti. And now he's doing more work in Rwanda and stuff like that. But yeah, access to healthcare and is absolutely crucial. But I think the lesson that we learned from Paul Farmer is kind of radical activism, you know, radical altruism. Someone who has just devoted his life to helping, using his skills to help other people and to uplift them. And that's a good note to end on this. You know, you all have various skills. I mean, you certainly have skills at running and creating a fantastic #1 real estate website, and that's all wonderful. But you have myriad of other different skills. And there's tremendous opportunities out there to help make the world a better place. And I urge you all to consider that. And I urge you all to give some money towards this raffle and dinner with Spencer. And I thank you especially for having me. And please check out Mona Foundation. You can tweet at Mona Foundation. Look at us online and check us out. And consider, too, the importance of education and how it's grassroots education that is the key to really the greatest transformation in the world right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Can I go out? Great. Thank you, Amy.